This is going to be somewhat of a different video. Yeah, not gonna be a theory video or power scaling video. A discussion video, kind of. Not on, like, let's say a particular topic, but more so looking back on where we came from, right? For this channel, the story that I follow the most is One Piece. And One Piece has been extremely impressive. It has been a story that has stood the test of time and is going to continue to stand the test of time for quite a bit of time. It's becoming more and more and more apparent that it is the backbone of Shonen Jump. And I know this does upset people in terms of, well, technically speaking, Dragon Ball is actually what kicked off the popularity of manga globally. Attack on Titan's anime had reached absurd heights in popularity. JJK has been, let's say, the best-selling manga for a while. Demon Slayer got some of the highest grossing sales in a single year, and so on and so forth. All true. But when you think about longevity, and not just longevity, but at the highest levels too, the story that has not only been the best-selling manga for so many years on end, uncontested, but even when it's not the best-selling manga, it's still the most successful story to come out of Japan over the past 6 to 7 years. It has been One Piece. We're talking about restaurant openings in Nevada. We're talking about movie franchises that have done very well as of late. Film Red, a very successful movie globally, and in Japan, it is one of the top-selling movies in Japanese history. Recently, it's going to be seeing another run in Japanese theaters. A live action that, when it was airing on Netflix for the first time, it was the top watch show on Netflix for weeks. And in terms of animation, hard pressed to beat One Piece during Wano Country, and there's no signs of it stopping. So there was a tweet that Pew Piece tweeted a few hours ago, and it caught my attention because it's pretty funny. RIP Big 3 2016, RIP Big 3 2024, and Welcome Big 3 2032. 2016, you had Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. 2024, you had My Hero, JJK, and One Piece. And 2032, only the big one. The big me, and me is Monkey D. Luffy. And for years to come, the Glaze train has no signs of slowing down. We have, at this point in time, some of the best animation right now in the game, undeniably. There's a remake of The One Piece coming out at some point really soon for Netflix and with studio collaboration. We're gonna be remaking the East Blue Saga, at least so far. Season 2 of the Netflix live action One Piece show is coming out. Oda talked about that recently in a post. And the manga is about to hit one of the biggest arcs that so many One Piece fans have been dying for decades, unironic decades. Elbaf, and just ended, I'd argue, one of the best arcs in One Piece, the Egghead Island arc. When I look back at all this, even though it's funny, just seeing so many stories, so many shonens come and go, and One Piece is still here. I was there when all these other shows start to fade off into existence. I was there when Naruto faded off into the ether. I was there when Bleach faded off into the ether. Though it's come back now in a pretty big way with the 1,000-Year Blood War, and Kubo is doing a Hell Arc sequel after Bleach, but still nonetheless, the actual core Bleach story is done. And it had that 5 weeks left. Toriko, one of my favorite shonens, had that also 5 weeks left before it ended. Recently what ended? My Hero Academia, it's over, which has inspired so many other series like Jujutsu Kaisen, which is gonna be seeing its finale in 5 weeks time. Whether it's Demon Slayer ending, Hitman Reborn ending, Attack on Titan ending, even though I did drop it after the basement reveal because, Magi ending. There have been so many stories that I followed for so long, and One Piece just continues to be the backbone. Just think about one of the core critiques of the story. We go from island to island to island, and then there's always a problem. Therefore, the story feels too repetitive, and that is a negative on the story, the repetition of the same system. And obviously it's not always the case, clearly. But when I look back at that sort of criticism, I can't help but say, hold up now, but that's one of the reasons why the story's so goddamn good. It is a fair critique, for sure. But at the same time, that consistency you can't deny has been extremely successful since 1997. Almost 30 years. The story has maintained its greatness over the course of time, with a slew of amazing characters across the board, a fantastic world, one of the best worlds in the entirety of Shonen. And Monkey D. Luffy in 2004 is still Monkey D. Luffy in 2014, is still Monkey D. Luffy in 2024. So if you like Monkey D. Luffy in 2004, you're certain to love him now in 2024. And it's amazing to me how maybe a lot of young bucks don't know. They just don't, they're not aware. But heads up for those that don't know. Now you know, because I was there. I was there in 2012. I was there in 2011, in 2010, in 2009. As far as I recall, going all the way back to 2007, when being a One Piece fan sucked. It sucked, man. Because you had the new Hunter x Hunter anime coming out at that point in time. Bleach was going into the end of the Arrancar saga, into the Fullbring arc, which absolutely sucked. Naruto was in the middle of like the Pain Invasion, going into the Hokage Summit arc. And at this point in time, being a One Piece fan was not seen in a good light. One Piece in Japan, it was popping. It was fantastic. It was amazing. But One Piece in the West was not deemed in a positive light at all. The One Piece dub was extremely behind. In my experience, going to physical retailers to try and get One Piece volumes was pretty hard. At Barnes and Nobles, that was near me, I could find Naruto easy peasy, no problem. Other stories, relatively easy, but One Piece was hard. Even though there was like the big three, in reality, it was, in the West at least, it was like Naruto and it was Bleach that were the headliners, and One Piece, it was dead last. It is what it is. One Piece would always get criticized, whether it be on YouTube, early YouTube at that point in time, whether it be on the forums, Facebook, MySpace. One Piece would get consistent criticism, and there are, you can argue many reasons why this was the case, but I would say the cornerstone case was the 4Kids dub, where the 4Kids dub was basically a joke.
Talk about letting fate take its course.
At that point in time, the best thing about One Piece was unironically the rap.
His name's Zolo, he's just like a samurai and a L-A-D-Y, Nami's not shy. Usopp's doing that marksman thing, Sanji's cooking, Chopper's doctoring.
Ha ha! I love that rap. But you can see the problem right then and there. I mean, this show was less serious than Pokemon. Luffy beat Crocodile by just sweating more. Sanji was sucking on a lollipop saying,
"Don't you diss Nami or I'll butter you and batter you and deep fry you in oil till you're nothing but fish sticks."
They had court guns and they were firing court guns at each other. It was ridiculous. You couldn't compare that to the beginning of Naruto in the West, where Naruto had a fantastic start. And Part 1 Naruto, in my heart, is still one of the best of all time. I love Part 1 Naruto. There were times where Toonami would just do, all Saturday night, Naruto.
We gonna stand here talking all day?
The Naruto Marathon will continue in a moment on Toonami.
2004, 2005, 6, 7, 8, like Naruto for so many years was the undisputed king in the West. And Bleach, at that time, was the linchpin of fights. The fillers were everywhere, but a lot of folks did like those fillers, especially in the late 2000s when people were not familiar with what exactly filler was. I mean, we thought that the Bound arc was unironically canon at that point in time. They had some good fights even in the fillers. And so the Dragon Ball fans that want like some cool action, epic stuff, they went over to Bleach, because Bleach was essentially Dragon Ball Z with swords. And around this time, Yu Yu Hakusho was over, so was Rurouni Kenshin. Bleach filled in a lot of that action void that folks wanted, but no one could ever take One Piece serious. And over the course of time, seeing One Piece just maintain its greatness in Japan, and then seeing that really transit over to the West, particularly with Marineford. The Marineford arc is what I think catapulted a lot of hype around One Piece in the West at first, because Marineford in of itself is like a fantastic arc, and you can see the volume sales for Marineford for those years, like 2009 and onwards, those sales in Japan for One Piece were catapulting because of Marineford. And that hype, of course, spread globally, and then eventually folks in the West did catch on, number one. But then number two, for the Naruto English dub, they had just started to get into a massive filler saga, where around 2008, 2009 onwards, it was nothing but Naruto filler in the dub for almost 100 episodes. People didn't really know like what filler necessarily was, I think, at that point in time. But then when folks started to find out what filler was, folks didn't like it. And for Naruto, this was started from episode like 136 onward, and the original Naruto anime ends around episode 220 something. So you can see how much of a problem that is. The Naruto story was losing a lot of steam. People wanted to pick up other things to see what was going on, and One Piece was hot. There's a reason why Marineford was so prominent at that point in time in Japan. Marineford was that good. And more of what we were doing was online on the internet. And so what started to crop up was a lot of these fan subs, a lot of these groups that were actually translating the weekly episodes to English, because the officials, again, they were so far behind. Back in the day, there were these fan sub guys called Yeebis, Y-I-B-I-S. I think it said Yeebis. Yo, they cornered the market on fan subs for translations. And so like, you gotta go to their site, you gotta download the episodes. And the episodes, I believe, I think it was them, maybe somebody else, they have these really cool effects for the attacks. So like when Luffy had an attack, the actual subtitles would change, like gum gum, and like the text would blow up, have these cool effects around them. I kind of do some magma thing, and like you would see the text like turn to magma. Oh man, yo, fire. The fan subs back in the day for One Piece were lit, absolutely lit, and a lot of the focus and hype around Marineford and the action and the intensity, Whitebeard, Ace and his passing, Whitebeard's passing, in comes Blackbeard, Shanks stopping the war, Akainu going on a mad tear. So many things for One Piece at that point in time. I can't necessarily say officially, but definitely online, they were starting to get big. They were catapulting. And from then on, it's been a road of success in the West. I'll say specifically in the West for One Piece, where it became way more of a focus among the big three, particularly when the Naruto Third Ninja War was going on, and a lot of folks were not digging it at all. Though I need to obviously give credit where credit is due. Shout out to, of course, Madara Uchiha, the man that was carrying the franchise on his broad back. Huge shoulders, my goodness. And the Fullbring arc for Bleach sucked. And that was the final arc of the anime. It is what it is. There were other shonens that are coming up out the gate, kind of being mainstays. Attack on Titan at that point in time was making waves, huge tidal waves. But at the end of the day, it took the meteoric rise of Demon Slayer to dethrone One Piece for almost a decade of being the best-selling manga in Japan. And Naruto ended, folks came to One Piece, a lot of them did. Bleach ended, folks came to One Piece, a lot of them did. Dragon Ball Super was pulling a lot of views for sure, but then that ended, and then folks were kind of bored. Well, okay, what's left? Well, I mean, here's One Piece still ongoing, you know? I remember too, around, let's say, later 2010s, when you had the Katakuri fight against Luffy and Whole Cake Island, that started making a lot of the rounds. I remember seeing like Nux Taku do a video on that one, and people were yapping about Katakuri versus Luffy and how damn good it was, and it really was outstanding. And that fight between Katakuri and Luffy, on top of seeing One Piece get dethroned by Demon Slayer and how meteoric its success was, I think Toei saw that as a sign to elevate their game, because they didn't want to lose out to other studios who were actively increasing the quality of their content. Hence why we see this happy mug of Henry Thurlow, who joined Toei in 2021, and animation across the board for Wano Country was upticking in extraordinary ways. And Wano Country was also happening during what? I don't even know. A global pandemic. I'm pretty sure all of us feel at least 2 years younger than we actually are because of those void years. But during that mysterious time on the planet, and folks are bored, what were a lot of folks doing? Well, I have time to kill. And this show is pretty damn long. Let me peep some One Piece real quick. And this show slaps. Oh, they start to realize what a lot of us old heads been you from the 2000s. I'm talking about the dudes that have the entire Skypiea arc on their iPods and would watch it during lunch, track meets, or when we got a substitute teacher. Absolute. One Piece is the SHIT. I've been doing One Piece content for a very long time on this channel, a very long time. And I got no plans to stop. In fact, out of all the stories that I've done, and I've done so many stories on this channel, One Piece has been the mainstay. It has. Even though Togashi Yoshihiro is my shonen GOAT with Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter, it is Ichiro Oda and One Piece that has been consistent, that has stood the test of time, and at the highest levels of the game. And even though it hasn't been all good news as of late, let's say, for example, Henry Thurlow, the man himself has taking a step back from One Piece toy animation. The same thing for Vincent Chansard. And they will come back, they've noted to that. But these two guys have helped create and direct a lot of amazing scenes in the One Piece anime. Scenes that folks you will see on Twitter use them as an example of, hey, clearly One Piece has surpassed JJK and Bleach and Naruto. And here's the S-Hawk versus Luffy and Zoro fight scene. And then so One Piece fans rally behind that. And then you have the One Piece anti-guys like, oh my God, no, this is trash. You just can't see.
Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
Even though that's the nature of the beast. And I do love my One Piece. I also recall there was a time when we were in the hole, in the muck. We were literally Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann episode 1.
毎日毎日掘ることだけが俺の仕事だ。
It's been a treat. It really has been, bro. And I look forward to God knows how many more years of One Piece that are to come. There was always a fear that I had that the pre-time skip would always be better than the post-time skip definitively. But Whole Cake Island and Nugget Island, in terms of the mangas, they have been outstanding, I think. And in terms of the anime, Wano Country is unbelievable. Literally some of the best animation and some of the greatest fight sequences I've ever seen in all of anime have come from Wano Country. And I have a lot of confidence in Oda to make Elbaf a fantastic arc. I always remember where we come from. Oh yeah. And where we are today, that in of itself should be some sort of film. That should be some sort of documentary. How One Piece came to be one of the best selling stories, not just in Japan, globally, where One Piece is even competing with some of the DC juggernauts, Superman, Batman. Oh yeah. And it's impressive where Ichiro Oda has put his body through the ringer. He only gets like 4 hours of sleep. Man has gout problems. Man has had laser eye surgery. And he's continued to do so much work on a regular basis. Ups and downs, but the guy that's created this content has pushed through a lot of adversity to get to where he is today. I'm not saying he's some sort of deity, but man, he is one of the best, arguably the best to do it. And ultimately, as an old head, I do appreciate that. I definitely do. So that's it. I'm done. Sayonara. Peace out. But hold on, if you do like my video content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. Of course, slap on notifications on your phone app as well for YouTube. So until the next time, stay safe. Have a nice one.
See you. Bye-bye.